Hi, I'm Chuck Martin. Here we are at the AI Summit, and I'm happy to say I've got with me Ricky Ray Butler, CEO of Branded Entertainment Network, the famous BENlabs.
BENlabs. Thank you for having me, Chuck. I'm excited to be here.
So a year ago we spoke, and you were Ben Group, now you're BENlabs. What is that all about?
Well, BENlabs, I think, better explains who we are. We're always doing tests, we're always doing experiments, we have our own AI research lab where we're creating models and inventing new technology all the time. And so we felt like group sounded a little more archaic, a little too manual, and labs really shows that we are an AI business that is very scientific and is all about doing research and doing experiments.
So can you describe what your business is? Because not everyone knows it.
Yeah, so we are one of the leading AI companies that's focused on human behavior. And what we've found is the best data set for human behavior is actually through content and entertainment. And so we've acquired a variety of different entertainment companies, from influencer marketing to communities of different content creators through TubeBuddy, as well as product placement. And they all have a couple things in common. They were first in their category, but second, they had the most data when it came to how humans react to content.
But you're still getting products in movies?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there's three things that not a lot of people are talking about. One, consumer ad avoidance is at an all-time high. Two, we're seeing a decentralization of content. It's kind of like the era of the artist, where there's over 300 million productions and content creators. It's impossible for humans to navigate. And then three, in order to make those two disadvantages an advantage, you need to be able to leverage unstructured data and deep learning models to be able to take that content, train AI with it, and be able to make very bold and solid predictions.
So give me an example of a product that you placed somewhere in some movie or social media or somewhere, and what the result was.
Yeah, so I mean, we worked with like a variety of different clients, like for example, General Motors, where Bumblebee was supposed to be a Ford GT. We made it a Camaro. But General Motors also works across all platforms. So they're in a lot of content on Netflix, on Amazon Prime, on linear television, but they're also working with a lot of content creators and influencers on like YouTube and TikTok. And so the truth is with 90% of the globe skipping ads and 47% of the globe using an ad blocking technology, being inside the content is the best way to get human attention and to also be able to predict human behavior.
So a consumer sees this movie and they see a car. What happens after that as an activity on the consumer's part?
Well, hopefully they look more into it, or it increases, I guess, it increases the chance for that individual to want to go and research and buy that car. And I'd say when it comes to like product placement, that's more upper funnel. Right. When you're working with more like social video, like on YouTube or TikTok, that can be much more lower funnel, where you actually it's much easier to drive predictions on actually driving sales. But with a very expensive product like a vehicle or like a car, that definitely has a longer gestation period.
And then how do you convince a movie maker, if you will, to get this car in this movie?
This is the thing. As long as you make sure that you know your role, as a brand, and you understand what your role is when it comes to collaborating with that movie or with that content creator, brands are very authentic. They're a part of the storyline. People would rather use a real brand than have a non-brand or an off-brand.
Right. So you've been dealing in AI for a long time, and we obviously are going through this revolution in the market with,
yes,
with generative AI. Talk about how you've seen that evolve.
Generative AI, and specifically ChatGPT, has been one of our biggest sales executives. I mean, it's created such an awareness of how important AI is and how people can leverage it to do things that's really hard for humans to do. And so for us, it's actually increased our business significantly. We've been leveraging generative AI for a long time, but we've been very focused on human behavior and being able to make predictions. So where we create our own models, we also leverage other generative AI models to really better understand what's happening with human behavior, and then what can we do to make a difference, whether it's being in the content or understanding the community of where these audiences are coming from, where we can make a very solid prediction on how they're going to respond when they see a piece of content. And so what's interesting is there's more content now than ever, and that is making it the biggest gold mine of data for AI. And so if you look at DALL-E 2, if you look at ChatGPT, if you look at Midjourney, one thing that they all have in common is that they have breakthroughs with looking at unstructured data, but two, these are all applications for media, and also arguably entertainment. And so I believe the creator economy and the fact that there's now thousands of Hollywoods and over 300 million content creators, that is the richest data when it comes to unstructured data, because there's over 10 million videos being uploaded every hour, and that's something that is going to be very empowering to the AI.
So are you using AI in both ends of your business in terms of determining what product should be in something and then the measurement of it?
Yes, absolutely. And so we have three very core businesses. One, we take a very data science approach when working with brands and content creators or influencers, where we will create a customized algorithm to be able to predict, okay, how many views is this content going to get? What's the engagement going to be like, and also how many transactions can we get? So if you get enough time to do a data gathering period, you can actually create AI, or algorithms that can be predictive of not just how much viewership you're going to get, but how many sales you're going to get. So when we launched Apex Legends, where they got over 50 million players in the first month, and they got hundreds of millions of views, our AI, before that game came out, was able to predict 99.98% of those views. And this is all native content. This is not content where you do an ad buy on Facebook or YouTube. This is working with content creators. But then we have another example where we worked with companies like Gel Blaster, which is a new toy company, where we created a customized model to grow their sales on both Walmart and Amazon, and where we got to the point where we could start predicting sales based on what content was working the best, and also which audience clusters most likely is going to react the most positively to that content.
When we talked a year ago, I remember you talking about being able to predict the Netflix success of something before it was even put out.
Yeah, so and that's our application when it comes to series or television or when it comes to streaming. For the last 4 years, we've been able to predict 8 of the top 10 new TV pilots before they've come out. But we've been able to go further than that with our Bayesian modeling, where we're also able to predict, okay, when season 4 comes out, what does that mean for season 1, season 2, and season 3? All the data is out there. But what's interesting? What do you think is the most important data feature when it comes to predicting these series?
What?
It's actually the synopsis or the script. It doesn't have to. I mean, obviously knowing the actors and knowing the director and the producers all are very important. But it's actually the unstructured data, again, that makes the biggest difference. And as we make predictions to drive sales in Walmart, or to drive digital sales online, or to grow a community, let's say for TikTok or Discord, the most important feature is actually audio. It's not the average views, it's not the average click-through rate, it's not the stuff that you fit into a spreadsheet, it's the unstructured data that makes the biggest difference, being the video, audio, images, and large groups of text.
So you can predict failures in advance as well.
Failures? Absolutely. But we also embrace failures when the AI is wrong, because that helps us reiterate and optimize. And so, for example, we were not able to predict Tiger King before it came out. That came from nowhere, but we've been able to then reiterate our model to look for that type of content in the future.
So you're dealing with a lot of CEOs in technology. What are they facing for challenges these days?
Yeah, so it's interesting, as this generative AI craze has happened, a lot of people have been researching different organizations that have video intelligence, and we're getting a lot of pressure now to take a lot of our applications and a lot of the models that we've created for video to reapply it to other industries like oil and gas, as well as with the teleco. But what I'm noticing when it comes to these CEOs, there's 2 issues and 2 challenges that CEOs have. One, everyone has pressure to do stuff with AI and to leverage it for efficiency and automation. But 2, there's also pressure to have innovation and to leverage AI for growth. And we've been very lucky, to be in a position where we've been working with AI for the last 10 years around unstructured data and specifically media entertainment, where we've been able to create models that can be extremely helpful in modeling those types of predictions, of predicting growth. And so if you get enough video content and you have a good attribution feedback loop, I mean, it's not impossible to be able to predict sales on a monthly basis. And then making sure you have the right MLOps platform that can also give you an alert when you're going through model drift and when you need to have some human touch to make some adjustments to make sure that you continue to drive impact.
So what are you facing for challenges and opportunities now? Like where you're going forward, like what do you say, we've really got to go get this?
2 years ago, the learning curve about how AI worked and what unstructured data was a challenge, and that was our biggest friction point. Now, it's just become very overwhelming when it comes to the interest out there and the growth, and I would say in the last 4 months, I've had more CEO conversations than I have had in my entire career.
Really?
So the world's waking up, and it's happening at the top levels, and it needs to happen at the top levels because every organization has data silos. And in order to really leverage AI and to be successful, you need to make sure that you have good data flow and that can be something that can feed the model consistently. And so a lot of these different organizations have different departments that try to own their own data, and the CEO needs to come in, make this one of their top priorities, and make sure that they break all the bottlenecks to make sure that they can really leverage their data to have very successful outcomes.
That sounds hard to do.
Oh, it is, and that's why you have to go to the top.
So a year from now, we're sitting here, what will we be talking about?
A year from now, I think we're going to be talking more about how AI can predict what we're thinking based on what we're viewing and reading. And there's already a lot of studies there, but I think that's going to become applied much quicker than we realize, and it's going to be fascinating. It's also going to be very alarming, but I think that's going to be a big part of entertainment is going even deeper and understanding and better contextualizing how people receive content and then what they're going to do with it.
Well, I look forward to that conversation in a year. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Chuck. See ya.